Alrighty, take it away.
Hi, it's wonderful to see at least those of you who are joining right now, and hope that some others will be able to see this later. My presentation, I'm Beth Stochl. I'm with SI Series in District 2, and my district director is here. um, I I'm excited that SIA is offering club grants again. There was a period when they stopped for a little while. I think it was during the pandemic. I don't know, sometime in there. I know that for our club, we've been able to receive two over the years, and it's helped us with our programs. Um, I talked with, or I communicated with the woman who's the program director at SIA, and I was confirming which funds are used for this. And I liked how she says, yes, it's membership contributions. So it's Laurel Society and the club giving. So those are the two that come back into different regions for these grants, which is wonderful. So I'm going to go. What my goal tonight is for you to be able to go find where the club grant information is on the website. See each part of it, and so that you can access it yourself. Have questions, you can ask those, and I'll let you know some more as we go on. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
And why am I don't want any of those. I want just my screen. And there we go. Let's see. Share. Oh, would help if I went to share. Yes. I think most of you have experience going to the Soroptimist website, Soroptimist International of America's website. It's at soroptimist.org. And then you look at all this and you go, our work, let's see, where do I find club grants? Well, if you go to clubs and members, and then you get this whole other menu. And I used to go to Federation information and then realize, no, it's program resources. So you go, and I wanted to comment, every time I see these different pictures of different clubs and people who have received Live Your Dream awards or Dream It Be It pictures, I feel like they're friends, even though I don't know. It's just fun to see them. So program resources, and if you like these ladies and that young man, I know that they were all Live Your Dream winners not too long ago. So we're again on program for clubs and members, program resources, and you keep going down program resources and you see different things. There's quick links. Well, no club there, no club grants. Ah, there it is, club grants. You'll see there's Live Your Dream, our two big dream programs, Live Your Dream and Dream It Big, Be It, and Big Goal Accelerator projects. And those all are important to know for Soroptimist Club grants. So you click Learn More, and it says application, tips for applying, and a yearly list of grant recipients. I didn't see the list of grant recipients. I know they've had that in the past, so I'm assuming they'll start posting that again. So as you keep going down, you notice that the title is the Soroptimist Club Grants for Education and Economic Empowerment. Sounds a lot like our mission statement. Then it says apply for a Soroptimist Club grant. Well, you don't want to go directly here to apply online. You want to look at tips for applying handout, and they have it in all sorts of languages. But if you keep going down the page, you'll see the resources, tips for applying, and the application worksheet. So we'll go to tips for applying first. And it's loading and it's loading and it's loading. Okay, and I'm gonna make this bigger. Okay, so applications are due. They only accept online submittals, and there's a link, which is that same link that you saw on the first page to apply online. It's by March 1st each year, and they will not accept PDF or emailed or mailed submissions. Only Soroptimist clubs can apply for the grant. It's only eligible for one grant per year. A club member should complete the proposal, and that club member should probably be it's recommended that that person be the contact person who is most involved and knowledgeable about the project. Now, you apply in March, you learn about the funds, whether you get the funds in June, and then it comes in the following year. And so the contact person shouldn't necessarily be the person who's the chair now or the person working on the project now. It's the person who definitely will be working on the project next year, because they're going to be responsible for most of this. The club president and the club treasurer. The club president also has to put their information into the application, and the club treasurer also will be responsible for overseeing the budget for the duration of the grant period. There's a third thing that happened. So there's also, it's not third, but there's another, you have a requirement to report out. And so that's another link on here on the page. Let me keep going down. You can have partnerships. Most of us have to have partnerships of some sort in order to put on some of these. For example, our Soroptimist Club is doing a Dream It, Be It, and major partnership with the school district. Sometimes it's nonprofit agencies like a foster care or other service clubs or government agencies. But the Soroptimist club members need to be the ones primarily responsible for the project, planning, managing, delivering. And oh, I should have said, when you go to this page, you'll notice all this stuff at the side, but and you guys all probably know this, but just in case, you can download it. I recommend downloading it, saving it on your computer, and printing it out. So the print is right there. That way you've got something. I don't know about you, I'm not totally paperless. I need my paper to mark on and highlight and all the rest. But you can do that with all of these different PDFs. So, okay, so partnerships, we talked about. You're eligible if a project, this isn't a club, but a project, if you've received a grant before for a project, you could potentially get 2 grants. However, the grant that, if you get a second grant, you have to demonstrate you're increasing the level of commitment by the club and the community, or you're adding something new to the existing project. An example that I thought about was SI Clovis, for example, they had a Dream It, Be It program that they were doing. They were asked, I think, by the school district to do one for foster youth. So they added another project. So something like that, where there's an organization that you want to work with, and it's, Dream It, Be It, but it's with this, it's got a little twist to it. That would be a good example of making sense for a grant, or for an existing project and getting a second grant. This was kind of interesting, and I don't know exactly how this will work, but I'm sure we'll learn more about it. And that's the region program chairs score each proposal and recommend grant amounts. Proposals are scored on to the extent that they meet the program requirements. Do you guys see the whole page, or is it okay? Or because what I see is you guys on one side in the page, so I wasn't sure. Okay. And as I said,
Beth, I can echo that as a program pillar chair for the region now. I've been asked to review the club proposals, so I can't do anything in our region, but I'm really looking forward to see what other people are doing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you do it. That makes, I was like, because later on they recommend that region pillars look at the thing, look at your proposal and recommend anything with it. And I thought, but if they're scoring it, how does this work?
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Okay. So again, let's make sure your project is eligible. So again, it's education and economic empowerment. It only funds projects that will contribute to, hey, our 2021 to 2031 big goal, investing in the dreams of 500,000 women and girls through access to education leading to economic empowerment. So obviously the 2 DREAM programs fit into it. However, big goal accelerator projects can also be funded through Soroptimist Club grants. So general eligibility. These grants can be used for operational costs, equipment and supplies, educational materials. So, but you cannot use the grant to donate to another organization or even an individual, including scholarships. So say for Live Your Dream, you can't apply for club grant, SIA club grant money to give to a Live Your Dream recipient. So you can't do that. Or fundraising projects or consulting services or deficit financing or speaker fees or stipends or expenses for Soroptimists or other volunteers. Funding requests, again, it cannot be used for Live Your Dream. Well, this will give some examples, and then if people have questions, we can look at those. So proposals will be considered for club efforts. Think about expanding. So instead of, I'll use ours, the 2 that we fund, I know many clubs fund many more, but the 2 that we fund, we couldn't use the funds again to fund a 3rd. However, the portal is wonderful and we have some pretty good systems for getting applications, but maybe there's some organization or somebody who works specifically with a perfect Live Your Dream awardees, somebody who really fits the bill. So maybe it's your outreach to them. And there may not be much cost, but there might be some, and maybe you want to do a workshop with them. So that would be an example. You could use it for additional education or training, for mentoring, for job assistance, recruiting applicants, expanding partnerships to reach, again, it's expanding, reaching more people, reaching more women. There's a Live Your Dream form that every club fills out. It just would be incorporated into that Live Your Dream form. Similarly, with Dream It, Be It, career support for girls, you could do it to add a new dimension to an existing project, including recruitment efforts, partnership expansion to reach more girls. Again, using the Clovis example, or actually even Lodi. Lodi has worked over the years with foster care agency that has had years in their area, and they provide assistance. They give a scholarship to at least one young woman from that. But maybe there's some educational materials that could be given to her, or, so it could be that extra thing, offering it not just to her, but to others in that foster agency. That would be an example. Any questions on those? Can you think of things that you're wondering about if it would work or not? And Judy, I'll have to, if anybody puts things in chat, maybe you can check it out, but I don't see anything yet. Yeah.
Beth, I was thinking about, my brain was going to Dream It, Be It, and I was thinking about a partnership expansion possibly with Girl Scouts. And I don't know anything, I don't know how that would work, but I do think Girl Scouts could be a great resource for a lot of our clubs for partnership expansion, but I don't know that it would cost us any money to work with them. But maybe I don't know. I think there's an opportunity there. Maybe clubs are already tapping into Girl Scouts. I don't know, but
I think Manteca is, or at least they were when I was there. But it could be even one of SI series grants was to hold a second Dream It, Be It. So maybe you have one, but you want to do a second one to reach more people. So maybe like Clovis, the first one is your regular Dream It, Be It. The second one is for foster age youth, or with Girl Scouts, or something like that. So as long as you're expanding the number of people, maybe it's your first Dream It, Be It. And, your club can put some into it, but not as much as you think you might need. So that would be another example. And printing, I know printing materials for the Dream It, Be It can.
I'm just thinking if you're a small club or a newer club that just doesn't have a lot of funds yet, that this could help, it could help with the materials for the program for sure.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so maybe for Riverbank, when they do their first Dream It, Be It.
Yeah, right, because they're not going to have a lot of money, and it's going to be a club that has the resources to make this happen because they're all from the school districts.
Right. So they've got the connections already.
And here's $3,000 to get you going. Like, no excuses, Riverbank.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Beth.
Now, projects are eligible again for the DREAM program, so we talked some about those, but also the Big Goal Accelerator projects, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. I've read about the, it's BGAP. I shouldn't do that.
Oh, no.
Accelerator projects, I know. So that's how they it's BGAP, but but there are ways, maybe you're trying to make an existing program more like a Dream It, Be It program, or more like Live Your Dream, or maybe there's some connection that you can make. And anyways, so we'll talk more about that as we go. I won't go too in depth into it at the moment. Remember, it needs, pardon my throat, it needs to be a fully managed Soroptimist project. Again, and I think Twain Hart's on here. I know they've worked with their school district as well as Black Oak Casino. So they have some partnerships there that are wonderful. Okay, application tips. All projects again, you're expanding the number of women or girls who have access to education. So some objectives, you can see those, sorry, I'm going to do cold water instead of warm water. So the project objective, these are the project objectives, not necessarily the way that the club funds will be used. So again, increasing the number of women who receive Live Your Dream, increasing the number of girls who participate in Dream It Be It, increasing the number of women or girls served with access to education for a big goal accelerator project, by removing obstacles and barriers, like necessary items for education, paying fees for exams, that kind of thing. Maybe one of your project objectives is providing classes, jobs or skills training, financial aid application training, career mentorship, increasing scholarships or awards. Now again, and this is where I got confused, these are project objectives, not the club grant objectives. So you still can't use the grant money for scholarships and direct awards, but you can use it to supplement things for the women and girls who are getting the scholarships and awards that you're giving. So they do want members to be actively involved. If multiple clubs are working together, and that's okay, a lead club has to be designated. Any questions on this whole part? I think we understand, you know, that's the big goal, is expansion, expansion, expansion. Okay. You'll see this even more when we look at the project, at the application itself, but you need to have it clearly written, include all requested information, detailed enough, it makes sense. You've got to be well written and thorough within very limited parameters on the online application. And we'll look at the online application in a minute. Role of club members has to be really clear. So some of the questions, well, they give an example. I appreciate that they give a lot of examples here. Job skills training class. Well, how are women selected for the project? How often will people meet? What will Soroptimists and trainees do in the classes? What will the classes cover? How will it increase their access to education, leading to economic empowerment? Are there projects that you can think of that, any other projects that people are thinking of? I can keep going, but I just.
Yeah, no, well, when I was in Carmel Bay Club, we got a club grant, and we were able to get the second year as well.
Oh, good.
And there was a program I did with wasn't a homeless shelter. It was a day program for homeless women only.
Oh.
It only served women, and it was kind of in the day. So they had case managers to work with them, and they had they fed them, allowed them to take showers. But our role specifically was once a month or once every 2 months, we brought in a whole slew of things for them, and handed them out. And it was always really, it's actually not a hard thing to do, but they were always so grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think our club right now is necessarily do anything that would qualify, but we haven't really explored this concept of using it to kind of expand our dream program. So think about that some more.
Okay. This one, document the problem your project aims to address and explain how you determined your community had a need for this project. Well, some of the obvious places you're using statistics. So there's local, national, international. Local statistics are best. I recommend going to the school district, especially if you're targeting girls in school. The school district has fairly up-to-date information on poverty levels, on all sorts of stuff, and they're required to put out an annual report. You can even, if some clubs may want to work with one specific school, each school has their own report. So you can look for that. Stories are always good. So you probably heard a lot of stories, Judy, when you were working with the homeless women and realizing, oh, that's a real need, and we hadn't thought about that. So, from our perspective, it may be one thing, but from the participants, it could be something a little different. Information from experts. We love Dr. Grandison, Dr. Lynette here, because she provides all sorts of information about pediatrics in Stanislaus County, and like drug usage or problems with teen pregnancies or things like that. If you were aiming for that particular subsection. Even anecdotal evidence to make a connection between whatever your project is and how it will address the specific need in your community. A combination of all of these methods is recommended for stronger needs assessment. Often the city will often have a lot of statistics as well, so you can get a broad thing for your own community, and then if with schools you can get the population for the younger children. It needs to be not just a general social problem, but getting down to real specifics. And they give this example of bus passes. Well, I mean, all of us, oh yeah, that makes sense, give bus passes to people, but how does that really help them? Are there bus stops near where they're going? And because they don't have the money for a bus pass, they're late to class, or they can't get to class. So those kinds of things. Are they missing class because they lack the transportation? So take it like one step further, because we know the need, at least we think we know the need, but it's like, how does it really impact the participants in the project? Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. You made it back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yay. Oh, good. Because
Yes.
I was not being able to. Thank you. I'm enjoying this. I'm learning.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. Obviously, how will Soroptimist members be involved with the project? Who knows? Maybe you've got somebody who is some of the things that we had, like a resume writing workshop, and something like that. Maybe there's somebody who's really good at that, who works with job training. That could be something, and the materials that you may want to hand out at that, or even computers. Who knows what it is. There's a lot of different options.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was thinking about, since you mentioned computers, I wonder if this is going to sound stupid, but oh wait, you have
Yes,
laptops on. Here's an example. I'll say, like, can we buy laptops that we then go and take out and help people access things that they can't otherwise access? There you go.
That could be. This particular one was, so this example is, it's showing the specific items that you want in your budget. This one, they were doing a computer library to a domestic violence shelter, but I think your example makes some sense too. Offering computers and printers and paper, offering that, and and buying the computers for that, maybe that would work. It's worth exploring, definitely. You can't just lump all the supplies together and say supplies.
Right.
You need to have them all specific. This one, enlist the help of someone not involved to read your proposal. I recommend that highly. I don't know how many times I've written something, looked at it again, made revisions, looked at it again and again, and I missed some spelling error, or I've left all sorts of things in that I didn't mean to leave in. And you look at it later and you go, how did I let this slip? So have somebody else look at it. I am definitely willing to look at grant applications if you want. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing with I was trying to do with the SES. Oh, I should say, one of the reasons I'm talking about club grants is the Soroptimist Celebrating Success program is stopping right now, is being revised next year. So we won't be accepting any applications for next year because it won't be around. I think
this instead.
Yeah, so do this instead, and I'm willing to look at it. And I mean, obviously March 1st is coming up right around the corner. It's next Wednesday, but you could start working on something now for the following year, and I'd be willing to look at stuff in that category as well. But they do, well, and here they ask for help. Your region's program chair. Hey, there's Judy.
I'm available to help.
Yeah, is available to help you think through your project and develop your program. As I said, I contacted SIA headquarters, and if you have any specific questions, you can always check with program@soroptimist.org. They're exceptionally helpful. So now we get into the big goal accelerator projects only. So I think most of us really understand the Live Your Dream and the Dream It Be It programs and some potential ways to expand those. The big goal, the big goal accelerator projects are a little bit differently. They, well, let me just start up here. There's not, the DREAM programs both have evaluations that we talked about. And so a club won't have to do a separate kind of evaluation. However, evaluating big goal accelerator projects, you may have to think about, well, how do we get the information from people? And so it could be a questionnaire. I was saying that one of our members she's a whiz at SurveyMonkey. She does it all the time and really knows how to work it. You can do interviews, and you just need to think also about, well, how are we going to measure our project and evaluate that we did what we said we were going to do. You want to describe the impact on women or girls. So let me go a little further down. All of the projects, including the big goal accelerator projects, you want to remove barriers that block women and girls from accessing education. You want to provide classes or skills training to women and girls, or providing scholarships and cash awards to women and girls. Again, that's the project thought. So they give another example of cosmetology school. Well, what are some ways that you can reduce barriers for them? Again, this isn't one of the DREAM programs. This would be an accelerator project. Decrease you might pay for their licensing fees. I was thinking, a friend of mine just finished an EMT course, and they're pretty expensive. And there's this huge book that they have to buy, and they have to take, they get licensed as well. So they have to take a test up in Sacramento. So even transportation up to Sacramento could be an issue. So how do you figure out if paying their licensing fees would help them? Well, what's their level of stress about completing their education? Did you obtain your cosmetology license, or in this case, your EMT license? If you did get that, were you able to find related employment? So it's it's like most other grants. It's what are you measuring? What kinds of goals you have when you set up the project, and is it really meeting those goals and helping expand things for these women? So I won't go through all of this because it's all in the application part. Now, so that was that. That's just the tips for applying. And next, there's the application worksheet. And this will go a lot faster because it covers a lot of the same information. So one of the recommendations I have for this, they did this tips for application, but it's really hard to read. And when you print it out like in black and white, you'll see all of this is in kind of a light color font. So I'll let Jacqueline at SIA know, this is kind of hard. This is all the same information, talks about, you're going to have to submit on the online application, but here's who to contact at the SIA level as well as your region leadership. This just goes over the same thing, the program goals, the general information, how applications are due via online submissions, only Soroptimist clubs, all the things that we talked about already. I think the meat of what I really want to get down to for you with this, let's see, page 3, no, let's keep going. Page 4. Okay, so contact information. Again, this needs to be the person who will be most involved with the project when the money comes in. So not this year, but next year. It's pretty self-explanatory. Our wonderful Sierra Pacific region, your club name. It does have a way to search for your club number if you don't know it. Project details. So project name, I recommend doing something kind of fun for your project name. Just, if you're, and I'm not great at, I'm pretty straightforward with names, but Sherry Pearson has on the Soroptimist Celebrating Success, she always has the most fun names for her projects. Anyways, so see if there's somebody who's creative in your, as you're working on this. Describe your project. So these 3 things have to be in this project description that only has 300 characters. So you've got to be really succinct. You need to describe your project, how it will increase the number of women and girls who are able to access education, and what role club members will have in the project. So something that I recommend, use the ampersand instead of and, make bullet points or lists. Don't worry too much about how it looks, because what you're trying to do is don't give it lots of space, which is unlike what you try to do on social media or reports. This is super succinct. Then your target population is just a click. The interesting one is that it does say, what obstacles does your target population face? So there's poverty, violence, racism, teen pregnancy, being a foster care youth, single parenting, it goes on and on. And you can select all of them that apply. Again, thinking about the Clovis example where they did a second Dream It, Be It for foster care youth. Well, foster care youth, yes. Poverty, probably. Violence, probably. Maybe racism, maybe some teen pregnancy, single parenting. You know, a lot of these probably are all associated with what they were, who they were helping. And the big accelerator projects in particular focus on more on these kind of topics. Obviously our Dream It, Be It does, and the Live Your Dream to some degree, but it's not as detailed as this shows. Is your project new or continuing? Well, it could be a new one, especially for a new Dream It, Be It program. But if you've got a continuing one, then you have to think about how am I expanding, particularly if I've already received a grant. And that's, you know, we talked about that earlier. Project evaluation. Which objective will your project meet? So women who receive Live Your Dream Award, Dream It, Be It, and then Big Goal Accelerator. If you select the Big Goal Accelerator, they have additional questions that will pop up. Okay, here's our next 200 characters. How did you determine there was a need in your community for this project? So like if you were using school district data, you might say school district information, blah, 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 you know, interviews, you know, here, you know, so-and-so said this, or maybe a team leader you were, or I think of our CSH, I can't remember the initials anymore, but maybe there's a specific organization that you're working with, and they work with women who have language barriers, and they're single moms, and so you can interview charge of that, or the person in charge of that, and include some of those interviews in this part. How are you going to measure if your project was successful? We talked about some of that: surveys, qualitative interviews with participants, other. How do you plan to carry out your evaluation? That's really short, 100 characters. And approximately how many women or girls do you estimate your project will serve? Project delivery. Are you engaging any other partners to help deliver the project? Explain the partnership. Again, you know, Soroptimist members and the club needs to be the primary, but you know, whoever else you work with, like especially school districts, I think. Budget. Okay, so now we get to the money part. In $500 increments, you can ask for anywhere from $500 to $3,000. How much funding will the club be contributing? There's not a direct, you know, 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 ratio as some grants require, but you know, you don't want to say that you're contributing nothing and you're asking for $3,000. That's not going to work. But maybe there's some outside funding coming in, or even, and it says here, how much will other organizations be contributing? Maybe they're contributing in-kind services. So maybe they're the ones who are doing some of the classes on construction or welding or gardening. I don't know, or, you know, whatever. List the items to be funded by the grant in the table below, and evidently, let's see, funds may not be used for donations. So some of the same things that we talked about before, all you put this in and it automatically calculates it to put up here. Up to 20 items, you probably, you may need to combine. And then again, confirmation, club president name, club president email address, and the contact person has to physically sign there. So the online application, they talk about how you click in the signature box and you drag your mouse across to digitally provide your signature, your type name. And that's the end of the application worksheet. I just want to show you briefly the application itself, because I think you'll see why I didn't show you earlier. So, you know, you're done with your worksheet. You're pretty set on what you're going to do. You apply online and it comes up, and this is all in jot form. Again, it's a repeat of all the information. I recommend reading it again, just in case. Read, reread. Then next. And you'll notice up here, instructions, contact us, eligibility, contact information. So as you're working on it, you can jump to each of these tabs. And then I just did this so you could kind of see what the next one is. Eligibility, yes. And then it went into all this and it's like, okay, well, I'm not applying for anything right now, so I'm not going to fill it in. And it'll tell you errors as you go through on the application. So that's really nice as well. Any other questions right now?
I was just going to say there's a huge advantage in this all being in the family, because often when you're applying for a grant, you have to spend so much energy just explaining your organization and your mission.
True.
And it's nice that we, you know, they know.
They already know, dream it, be it.
So it allows you to kind of cut straight to the project itself without all that, you know, fluffy background that it takes somebody super, you know, knows what they're doing to write. So I like that. You know, I like that is one less hurdle.
It's true. It's true. I would also recommend when you submit the form, it should give you, I had to do that for the SCS this year for our finalists. I submitted a jot form and it kept not going through, and and so check to make sure it goes through, and they'll let you know, but you should get an email as well that the form was submitted. But I would be proactive and just check to make sure. So again, all of that is for clubs and members, program resources. And if you want to learn more about the big goal, I understand we've got another presentation coming up about Big Goal Accelerator projects in March. But if you want to learn a little bit more ahead of time, there's where you learn about that. They gave examples there of in terms of providing materials, like providing nursing scrubs, or providing, there's one club who didn't provide books, but they provided backpacks and notebooks and stuff for women that were coming out of foster youth. So there's a wide variety of things under the Big Goal Accelerator that might kind of spur some other interests in the club grant. So that's what all I have, and I will stop sharing my screen. Oh, we have a new person too.
Beth, I really appreciated that in the beginning you told us how grants are funded, you know, because
yeah.
that was interesting.
Yes.
Through Laurel Society and club giving. And I also really like that you helped us. I thought it was so educational to be able to find where this is, because that wasn't exactly easy. You'd be hunting, checking a long time. I wouldn't have looked under programs and resources. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Great presentation.
Just navigating the SIA website. And I know they're going to be, they're starting work on it and we'll be working on it, but it's not easy. So
it's not easy. I found more success. I just Google Soroptimist International of the Americas Club Grant or whatever I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's right there. Because it's just, and then I get there and I'm like, I don't even know where I am. I just know this is what I'm looking for.
That's the other part. How do I get back to it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Just ask Google. That's awesome.
It's always a big letdown when I'm like, Google that and I get nothing. I'm like, really? Nothing?
I do like in doing the grants before, you had to physically have the president sign it and everything. And this, just having it electronic, there is some nicety to that as well.
I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, but I know SI Lodi did give, I know you mentioned about their foster work, the foster care work they do, and they were able to give 2 $500 awards this year. And I wonder if they got a grant. I think they did get a grant, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway.
I think it's funded from some people that specifically put that money aside. They had some, at least some of their grants are like that. Some of their awards are like that. I don't know if all of them are, but yeah, they give an incredible number of, I was able to go to one of their presentations and I was like, oh, this is so wonderful. And that's why I remember about the foster youth. Yeah, she was going to school. She was pretty incredible.
Stephanie, when is your Dream It Be It again?
Me?
When is your Be It again?
Are you asking Stephanie?
Yes.
Well, March the 3rd, but we are having incredible issues with snow. So we're not, we're kind of up in the air right now because this snow that's falling as I'm sitting here is coming for 12 more days. Yeah. Oh my God. So I don't know. We have 22 wonderful mentors. We have 120 girls, but we don't know. I just did all the working with a caterer and
oh man.
All we can do is be hopeful, right?
Yeah.
Control the weather.
Do they close school? Are they closing school when?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There won't be. Yeah, they close schools.
Yeah. Bummer. Yeah, I see.
The other issue that we realized today is sometimes they do. It's not called. They don't close it, but it's late start. So if they decide on Friday they're going to late start, we can't have a program because the program is starting at 9. And so if they have a late start and don't get to school till 10, so it's just you're not gonna. This is the sort of thing that you have no control over, so you just see what happens. Yeah.
Well, I hope it works out. I hope the weather cooperates.
Thank you.
It sounds like you have a lot of work put into it, and that would be unfortunate.
What's really interesting about this Dream It Be It is it's not a lot of work because the school is so on our team that they provide the transportation. They are the ones who collect all the work, hand out all the forms, pick up all the permission slips, get the kids to the event, pick them up, bring them back. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So the work for us is really, getting the facility, which is pretty much a yes. And then we don't have much trouble at all getting all of the, our mentors. And it's, you know, and we have like our district attorney is a woman. I mean, we have everything from our district attorney to,
Great.
you know, fire chiefs and police chiefs, and they're all these wonderful young women.
Wow.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed. And what we said to the school is, if this doesn't, you know, if something happens, then we will just do both grades, freshmen and sophomores next year.
Oh,
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
Because you do, Stephanie, you do sophomores, right? Or do
No, we
you
do freshman girls.
you do
Freshmen.
freshmen? Okay, so then, okay,
So
interesting.
then, yeah, then that way they don't miss out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And I was just asked last Friday, I spoke to 4 senior classes. They wanted me to tell my journey story. And I guess they've had about 5 of us come and tell our journey story. And what was interesting is that these were senior boys and girls classes. And a lot of our, we had the freshmen in the Dream It Be It, and they actually started thinking about their careers. And pretty much it was amazing how many of the women in the senior class knew exactly where they were going and what they were going to do. And they mentioned, oh, you were there when we did the mentoring, and that was so cool. And what it does is it makes kids think.
Mhm.
It makes the girls think about, you know, opportunities, because and in this county, going on to community college is free. And if there's an issue with books, then they find a way to pay for the kids' books. And I spoke about that. And it's just nice to be in a classroom where kids are going, all of them are going on to school.
That's great.
That is awesome.
It was fabulous.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah, great. But
It's
I can tell you, I couldn't, standing for 5 or 6 hours. I said, well, I could have never made it a school teacher. I was exhausted when I got home. Crazy nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. It was great.
That's great.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Stephanie, even if it's only slightly
Yeah.
off topic, not totally. It's just interesting to see how other people are doing Dream It Be It, for sure. And thank you, Beth. This is super
Yeah.
helpful.
Good.
And thank you for walking through and showing us what it is on the website. And yes, you're right. Even though time is short now, this is the time to start thinking about, you know,
Yes,
what we
sure.
can actually, you know, plan for next year and then get the funding, you know, so maybe a year behind, but it gives us time to think about it, which is great.
Yeah. And a lot of us, as well as our clubs, are still kind of coming out of the pandemic and being closed and the hybrid stuff, and where are we headed? And so we're still kind of in that adjustment time, and it looks a little different than it did before.
It does.
So
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna stop the recording.